Hello, everybody. Name is Martha Alter Hines, and I'm with Living the One Light. So in this video, I am going to both channel and talk from the human me about actually primarily about the full moon in Virgo that is happening in the next couple of weeks, but also I'm going to talk about the new moon in Pisces, which is coming after that, because there are some really similar themes in both the full moon in Virgo and the new moon in Pisces, that they complement each other really well. And yeah, so I want to drop into the whole thing with you. And the big theme of the full moon in Virgo and the new moon in Pisces that I am feeling and seeing actually accentuates many of the themes I talked about in my last couple of videos when I was discussing the highly Uranian, the Uranus and Taurus energy, and this theme of needing to integrate ourselves as spirit and earth at the same time. So if you haven't heard those latest couple of videos, the one on the new moon in Aquarius, and then the one on the tips for a highly Uranian time, you can go back and listen to those because I speak more about these themes from that Uranian perspective. But now with the full moon in Virgo, which is, the moon is in Virgo and then the sun is in Pisces, and also with the new moon in Pisces, I'm going to show you in a second with the charts, the same kinds of themes are really alive again, but from a slightly different angle. So let me show you the charts of both of those, the full moon and the new moon, and then I'll talk a little bit, and then I will channel a little bit. Okay. So here is the full moon in Virgo. So the moon itself is going to be at 5 degrees, 22 minutes of Virgo, with the sun opposite at 5 degrees, 22 minutes of Pisces. The moon is actually exactly trining the dwarf planet in the asteroid belt Ceres. So Ceres is, that's a whole gigantic topic in and of itself. She's one of the goddesses that Verena Burrell and I focused on in our goddess conversations with the goddesses series last year, which actually is still available and at a discounted price now if you are wanting that. But Ceres is the Earth Mother, and among lots and lots of other things. So so we have the moon in Virgo, which is an earth sign, trining Ceres, which in and of itself, in whatever sign it's in, has to do with the energy of the Earth Mother. And Ceres happens to be in Capricorn, which is also an earth sign. So this is, Earth, 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 Earth. And moon and Ceres are the two things I look at in a chart to really look at the themes around nurturing, mothering, care, unconditional love. Ceres, I think of as especially unconditional love. And and they're trining each other on this full moon in earth signs. So right there, that you get that earth feeling, right? And then the moon is opposite the sun in Pisces. And what we have in Pisces is all of this. So we have Mercury, Sun, Saturn, Hygeia, and Neptune. And just to say, I actually happen to have been born on a full moon in Virgo. And I have obviously my sun in Pisces, and I have my Mercury also in Pisces. So these energies are really familiar to me in a certain way. And yeah, so just name that, because that's part of where I'm coming from with this, is that I go, yep. I get what these energies feel like. But then we're adding in some energies that are not the same in my chart, such as Saturn being in Pisces, Hygeia being in Pisces, and Neptune being in Pisces. And so yeah, there's so many components to this, but so what we have here is obviously this Virgo full moon, but it's opposite this pretty big grouping of beings in Pisces. But part of what's in that grouping in Pisces is Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn, which is where Ceres is. So Saturn brings in this element, you know, Pisces is the all that is. It is everything. It is the divine. It is source. But to have Saturn in Pisces brings, it's like, in a sense, bringing heaven to earth, or like bringing form to ether, and also reminding us that form needs to be of source. So the biggest theme actually that the spirit world is wanting me to speak to about this full moon, and even the new moon in Pisces at this moment, is this reality that all of existence that's in form ultimately is source, right? So there's this need to both be in integrity, Saturn, when we are choosing the forms that we are creating as earth beings, so that we're doing it in line with the essence of source, Pisces. And at the same time, as we're creating these forms, there's this need to remember that it all ultimately returns to source. So in a sense, it's like we both need to take extreme care when we're creating form, and at the same time, we need to remember that in a sense, none of it is real. So it's kind of a paradox. And I think probably when I go into the channeling, it'll come through a little more clearly. But that's the gist of the theme that they're wanting me to focus on. So, but I want to say a little more about Saturn and also Hygeia here, because both Saturn and Hygeia in and of themselves are very earthy, but they're in Pisces. So that's accentuating this theme again of this Pisces Virgo balance, right? And the bringing in Ceres in Capricorn, also this earth and ether balance. So I've already said that Saturn in Pisces conjunct the sun is bringing in the sense of, you know, the theme of being in integrity when we bring form into being as in our earth life, and yet remembering that it all returns to source. And Hygeia in Pisces is also reminding us, well, Hygeia in general, for me, is this reminder of the need to be in communication, in direct, constant flow with the knowing of our bodies and the reality that we are earth beings, we are earth bodies. So last Friday, I held the second channeled gathering of the Ultimate Divine Blueprint series that I'm holding this year. And, you know, it's basically full, but if you feel called to be there, you are welcome to join still. It's still, I'd say, for the next couple of weeks, okay, for a few more people to join if you feel called. But what we're doing in that series is it's a 12-month series, and we're going month by month through, in a sense, the chakras, but it's not the traditional chakras necessarily. It's that we're being held by the spirit world to be coming into our ultimate divine blueprint, whatever that happens to be. And that might be, you know, mirroring what we're used to as chakras or as energy systems. And it might also be opening up other ways of being that maybe we haven't thought of in lifetimes or ever. So what we started with was this past Friday was what they're calling the ultimate actual first chakra, not what we think of as the first chakra, which is the base chakra, but the first chakra, which is the ourselves as earth itself. And one of the things that feels important or relevant to say here in this video of what came through when I was channeling for that was this need to remember to fill in the reality that Earth is real, Earth exists, Earth is important, our bodies are important, our bodies hold value, and our bodies are part of the whole of the all that is. So, as we know, in the last several centuries, especially, there's been this notion of separating body and mind, spirit and body. So it's like the holy has been what is not of the body, and our body needs we've been really trained to disembody from our body needs and to push them away. But what that has done essentially is it's been enforcing or creating an illusion that there is something separate about our bodies and our spirits, right? And therefore we've just been ignoring this incredibly beautiful, wise being that is our body, that is the temple, Virgo, the temple of the divine, that is ourself as earth, as body. And we've also been denying the earth itself, the value of the earth itself, the reality that the earth is an alive, massive, beautiful being and has incredible wisdom, etc. So yeah, so in that channeling, we came into this knowing of ourselves as earth in maybe a new way, and a grieving of that time of forgetting, and then coming back into the time of remembering. So that's incredibly relevant. It was very, very, very relevant to the Uranus and Taurus energies, but it's also incredibly relevant to this full moon in Virgo energy, the Saturn in Pisces, the moon trining Ceres in Capricorn, all of the above, and then this Hygeia in Pisces, all of it. Just so relevant. And really briefly then, I'm going to show you also the chart of the new moon in Pisces, which will be, so, okay, sorry, back up one second. The full moon in Virgo is going to be on February 24th, 2024. If you're in Pacific, here in Pacific time, it's going to be at 4:28 a.m. on February 24th. And then the new moon in Pisces will be on March 10th. Here in Pacific time, it will be 1:28 a.m. And so the new moon, just to briefly talk about this, because I'll make another video specifically focused on this new moon, but the new moon in Pisces will be at 20 degrees of Pisces. And so wait, sorry, I don't have this is not the exact moment of it, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, so yeah, it'll be at 1:20-ish a.m. Sorry. But okay, so this new moon also will be really close to Saturn and very, very close to Hygeia and then Neptune also, right? So you can see in both the full moon in Virgo chart and in this new moon in Pisces chart, Saturn and Hygeia, and loosely, more closely with the new moon chart, but loosely with the full moon chart, Neptune is there too. So, so both charts have this Pisces, Saturn, Pisces, Hygeia theme. And so they're both bringing us back to being in integrity with the wisdom of our bodies, the wisdom of the the reality that there is no separation between spirit and earth, or spirit and body. It is all one. And there's this, we're getting really supported to be coming back, to come fully back into the wholeness of ourselves as earth, ourselves as body, and ourselves as spirit, all at the same time. Okay. So I'm going to channel in 1 second, but I want to say one more thing. I'm going to go back to the full moon in Virgo chart. And actually, I'll show you the chart on this moment that I'm recording this. It's currently February 12th, 2024. And so, it's a good 12 days before this full moon. And when I'm recording this, so a lot of you will be listening to this now-ish, today, probably, and the next day. At this moment, Saturn is at 7 degrees of Pisces. This is really significant. And this carries us into the coming weeks too. So I really want to focus on this a little bit, especially for those of you who do have a lot of Pisces placements. This is all, I mean, it's relevant for anybody, but especially for those of you with a lot of Pisces placements, which I think a lot of you probably do, because I do, and you're drawn to me. So a lot of people who are drawn to me often have a lot of Pisces placements. But also if you have Virgo placements, Sagittarius, and Gemini, this will be especially maybe impacting you, but all of us, it's relevant for all of us. Okay, so last year in March of 2023, Saturn first entered Pisces. And then a few months later, Pisces, it got up to 7 degrees of Pisces, and then it went retrograde at 7 degrees of Pisces. And then it went direct at 0 degrees of Pisces. So it didn't ever re-enter Aquarius. It's been in Pisces since March of 2023, so almost a year. But it only got to 7 degrees of Pisces in 2023. And it now is back to the place where it was when it went retrograde. So now it's at 7 degrees of Pisces again. And for the second time. But it went over that 0 degrees to 7 degrees of Pisces a total of 3 times. So if you have any planets between 0 degrees and 6 degrees of Pisces, Saturn has now gone over those 3 times. So for example, I have my Mercury at 5 degrees of Pisces. So Saturn went over my Mercury once, and then went retrograde, and then twice, and then it went direct, and it just passed over my Mercury a couple weeks ago, for the 3rd time. And now it's moving on, right? It's moving on now toward my sun. So now what's happening is that Saturn is going to be passing that place where it went retrograde, and it's moving on. And in 2024, it's going to get up to 19 degrees of Pisces, and then it'll go retrograde, and then it'll go back direct. And then next year, in 2025, it will finally move on into Aries. But so, and I need to check on those exact, I could be slightly off with that, but it's definitely only going to 19 degrees of Pisces in 2024. So yeah, so what I want to say about that is that, yeah, so what's going on, especially for those of us with Saturn, with a lot of Pisces placements, is really, really beautiful and fascinating. Because as you know, if you have a lot of Pisces placements, often people who, have really strongly Piscean charts or Neptunian charts, if that Pisces energy is out of balance, and this is actually relevant also to the Virgo Pisces polarity, which I'll say a little more about, because that's what part of what this full moon in Virgo is really supporting us in, is to balance the two, right? But Saturn in Pisces is also helping us with this balance. So Pisces energy out of balance can lead to disillusionment, getting kind of like lost in the energetics of other beings, other people, people who are really strongly Piscean without the balance of more of the earth energies and things like that, can have a hard time distinguishing between what is it that I'm feeling versus what is it that other people are feeling. They can become sort of martyrs. They can, give everything away in energetically or literally. They can be so compassionate that they can just get kind of lost in feeling the pain of the suffering of everything. And the really extreme Pisces energy can go into addiction and, wanting to feel the oneness of the everything, but doing that through substances, which clearly can become really not healthy and not helpful. But then to have both a balance of the Pisces with Virgo brings us down into both being open to and aware of our connection with the all that is, but then bringing it into service as an earth being, bringing it down into like a funnel where we can be grounded here, and we can put it into action in a way that is in integrity and in the sense of being a temple, right? Very clear and with discernment, like what do we need to do to keep things really clear and clean and moving, and digested. That Virgo has a lot to do with digestion. So how do we keep we're open to everything literally in existence, but that's not, all of it isn't necessarily helpful to what is we're here to do, to be of service on the planet right now. So then the Virgo energy helps us to be clear and clean. I'll come back to that one second, but just to go back to the Saturn. So what Saturn is doing right now as it's transiting Pisces, I think this is so fascinating, and I'm feeling it in my own life. I'm definitely seeing it in my life, and I'm seeing it in a lot of readings I'm doing with people who have really strong Piscean energy. And this is different for every person, of course, but I can say, for example, in my own life, so Saturn was just on my Mercury 3 times, and my Mercury happens to be in my 6th house, which is actually a very Virgo energy and has to do with work and day-to-day living. It also has to do with the body. Virgo has to do with the body, etc. But one thing that's been going on for me while Saturn has been transiting my Mercury in my 6th house is I obviously channel. I obviously, I'm very, very open to messages of everything. I get lots of ideas. I have lots of communication with lots and lots of different kinds of people. And there's infinite possibilities of how I could use my time or where I could go with all of that, right? And so one thing that's, long story short, one thing that's been happening for me is I've been getting more and more and more clear and clean with what is actually in integrity for me to focus my time and attention on. And so there's been a lot of things in my own work, in my business, where I've been getting like clarifying my boundaries, clarifying my goals, clarifying even the way I hold the circles that I hold, to really hone in on, okay, what's going to be truly of service? What am I actually here to do? So I'm not here to do everything. I'm here to do precisely what is mine to do in each moment. And this Saturn on my coming, transiting my Mercury has, I feel like, really helped me to do a lot of that. And then, like I said, Saturn is moving now toward my sun, which I feel, that's a whole other energy that I feel coming. And I feel that bringing structure into what I'm doing, getting even stronger, more and more strong. And there's been a lot of letting go of things too, right? So, but it feels strengthening. It feels like I've actually Saturn also can be related to ancestry. And one thing for me personally that's been happening a lot is I have been developing this really, really powerful, life-changing relationship with my own original ancestry. And so I have this relationship with this grandfather figure, I would say, this ancient grandfather figure who he just sort of come alongside me and just say, no, you know what to do. You don't need to do that. Don't do that. Do this. Yeah, good. Um, hang on, hold off. Don't, no, let that go. So it's this energy. It's very Saturnian, extremely Saturnian energy, actually. It's gentle, but firm and clear. And it slows me way down. So I also have a lot of Aries energy, and I can just want to get it. Let's just get it done. Let's move on, do this and this and this, and get it, check it off my list. So that's Aries and Virgo at the same time. My moon is in Virgo. My ascendant is in Virgo, right? So, but what the Saturn energy I feel doing for me is it's helping me go, oh, okay. Like, all right, okay, I got it. Like, it helps me come to grounding and to this simplicity of what's actually right, what's actually mine to do. And let's get all the ducks in a row. Let's get all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted, right? Like, let's get my business set up in a way that's going to really support me and support my clients and support my kids, and like just really, get it, sort of let go of X, Y, and Z thing. Don't try to do everything. Just breathe and come to center and focus on like the next building blocks. It's very Saturnian. So that's happening. That same transit is happening for all of us who have really strong Pisces placements, especially in the early degrees of Pisces. That's, now past, and then moving now toward the middle degrees of Pisces. So actually I paused this recording and I looked up the Saturn transit, because I was like, my Virgo was like, I can't just leave that hanging. So yes. So Saturn will be entering Aries in 2025, but actually it'll be going back and forth in the end degrees of Pisces in 2025, and then it'll fully move into Aries by 2026. So this year, 2024, Saturn goes up to 19 degrees of Pisces, and then it finishes Pisces in 2025, moves into Aries in 2025, but still kind of does this dance between Aries and Pisces in 2025. So that'll be really interesting energy in and of itself. Actually, 2025 is a whole different world. I feel 2024 really preparing us for 2025, but that's a different conversation. If you want to hear more about that, go to the Astrology of 2024 workshop that I held, which is still available and recorded, etc. And I have so many details. The Virgo in me went nuts and have tons of details in there for you if you want that. Okay. Yeah. So, so the Saturn energy, again, if you have really strong placements in Pisces, especially in the early to mid degrees of Pisces, if there's a tendency in you to I don't know, to give away the kitchen sink, like, or to have ideas, but like you can't quite find how you're going to do it, or you tend to, know that you need to take care of yourself, but then not actually follow through, that kind of a thing. The Saturn energy is really, really strongly supporting us to do that. And I personally don't tend to have a struggle with the Pisces Virgo balance because I was born on a full moon in Virgo, right? So I was born with the sun in Pisces and my moon in Virgo, with my moon on my ascendant in Virgo. And then I have my Mercury also in Pisces. So I am like living, breathing balance of Virgo and Pisces. It's not where I struggle in my life. Like I have other areas in my life where it's more of a challenge, but the Pisces Virgo balance is what I am, really. And you witness it when I channel. That's me being Pisces, the channeling energy coming through. But Virgo, where it's like the I am the vessel of it. That's Virgo. So maybe that helps you get a feeling of what Pisces Virgo balance is about. Think of me. You're watching it. But lots of you also have Virgo Pisces balance in a really beautiful way. And yeah. But if you have more of a predominance of the Pisces energy, then this Saturn energy can be coming through and really giving you strength, giving you structure, helping you to feel, okay, what is really an integrity for mine to do. And then the other component in there is Hygeia in Pisces, which has been traveling nearish to Saturn and is strong in the chart of the full moon in Virgo, but even much, much stronger in the chart of the new moon in Pisces, which I'll talk more about when I do that video in a couple of weeks. So that I've been hearing this from a lot of people, this Saturn and Hygeia energy together, both in Pisces, seems to be really supporting us, giving us strength to, again, listen to the wisdom of our bodies and take care of our bodies. Hygeia is the goddess of hygiene. She's the goddess of health. She's a healer. Um, and I actually associate her quite strongly with Virgo energy. My Hygeia happens to be on my ascendant in Virgo. So maybe that's why I associate her with Virgo, but no, I think she's a healer. She'll Virgo. She's very much about the body and yeah, coming to ourselves as wisdom beings, as bodies. And one thing that's key about her is she's also about the preventative health, which is also true about Virgo. And she's about, what are the daily routines that you can do that will help you really be in integrity with what your body needs, like brushing your teeth every day and drinking water every day and getting fresh air, moving your body, all of those, whatever it happens to be for you. Hygeia is a beautiful support to be listening from the inside out. Your body knows what is exactly right for you. Your body is what knows more than anyone, if you're truly listening to yourself. Yeah, so all of those energies are super strong in the full moon in Virgo and the new moon in Pisces. All right. So now I want to see what wants to come through in the channeling. So let's do that. Okay, so hello and welcome, everybody. And yes, just like Martha was saying, we have a very simple message today for this time. The the crux of what we want to convey today is really about what Martha was mentioning. We channeled in the Ultimate Divine Blueprint channeling last Friday. This is actually key, so key, and we even feel grief about it, is that you all in this part of the time-space continuum have been in a time of forgetting. And now you are swinging into the time of remembering. So part of what has taken place in the time of forgetting is a kind of imbalance where it's almost as though in the time-space continuum, there has been an illusion of a kind of whole created where the earth is and where yourself as earth, as body is. It's almost like this little donut hole has been created in the web of the time-space continuum. And that hole is not actually a hole, it's an illusion of a hole. But nevertheless, your bodies, yourself have chosen in various ways to experience as though there has been this missing kind of space or void in the midst of the time-space continuum. So there's been energetically this feeling that what was valuable was the mind, was even God or spirit. But what was not valuable was the body and the earth, and the reality that spirit and mind and body and earth are all one, that it's all part of the divine, all part of the all that is, all part of the oneness of existence that is you, that is everything. So we would like to invite you in a very simple way and if you want to go more deeply into this way of being, you certainly are welcome to in the Divine Blueprint series. But in this moment, even, we would like to offer you an energy transmission, an opportunity to be held so that your energy body can simply come back to the oneness, the wholeness of the all that is. Fill in that illusion of that gap where the earth is, where your body is, that it's all whole, that you are whole, that your body and your mind and your spirit and your heart and your soul and your essence and the divine and source and all of time, all of space, and every dimension are all part of the one. You can take a deep breath and just feel that any sense of that illusion of separation, that illusion of any kind of lack, or any kind of feeling that your body is not important, your body is not wise, that somehow the earth is not important, or the earth is not alive and wise itself. Just feel those ideas, those messages leaving. Because it's all illusion. It's not real. It's not true. You've been in a choice time of forgetting. And now you are choosing to be in the time of remembering. So this is part of the remembering. It's just simply coming back to what is. The reality, the truth of the all that is as the one, which includes your body, which includes the incredible innate wisdom of your body, and which includes the earth and the incredible innate wisdom, beauty, ancient beingness of the earth and of yourself as a being of earth, and the earth and yourself as beings of cosmos, source, the divine, the light, the all that is, infinity, all as the one. We invite you to take a long, slow, deep breath and just let that reality of that oneness come fully back into who you are. And notice and feel anything and everything that it is repairing as your cells can come back into the wholeness that they are, and release any and all illusion of separation and lack of oneness, lack of wholeness. You are body and mind, body and spirit, earth and ether, all as one. You can feel the ebb and the flow in and out as earth and breath and earth and ether and earth and beingness all reside as one, as you. And so it is. Amen. Okay. Yeah. That feels like it's the key message they keep having lately, both in this, all the themes I've talked about with Uranus and Taurus, and now with this Pisces Virgo balancing, and also with the Saturn and the Hygeia in Pisces. Beautiful. Okay, So I think that's everything I wanted to say about those. But I will mention a few things that are coming up that, you know, I've talked a lot about and already a lot of you have joined. But I get the feeling that I'm meant to mention it again because, you know, these are relatively full, but I feel like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm being told to mention it again, so I'm mentioning it again. So I am holding this Ultimate Divine Blueprint series, which many of you are already part of. And if you feel called to be part of it, it's already started, but if you feel like joining in the next couple of weeks, you know, you're welcome to do that. I'll put the link here. Also, we already started the Infinite Soul Wisdom Astrology 101 course, and there are even more of you in that. But there's space for probably a handful more-ish if you feel called to be part of that. So we have a workshop coming up actually this Wednesday, sorry, February 14th, which is called The Anatomy and Soul of the Zodiac and the Astrology Chart. So in that workshop, a few components of the astrology course are open to people who are not part of the course, and that workshop is one of those things. Is, you know, just a handful of things where I'm going to be opening it up for people to join who are not part of the whole course. But it's free for those of you in the course. And what that workshop is about is it's really, and the very brief version is that we look at the astrology chart as a two-dimensional circle with symbols on it, but it's representing the cosmos. It's representing everything, or it's meant to be ultimately, right? So how can we breathe life back into our experience of that chart? And how can we, you know, learn both the meaning of what are the houses, what is this circle, what is it, what are the components of it, but really what is the living breathingness of it? So it's kind of similar to this Pisces Virgo dance, actually, that we're talking about. And so the workshop is going to be a 2-hour workshop. It'll be live and recorded, available indefinitely. You can purchase it anytime, actually. And in there, I will be talking about what the zodiac is, you know, the kind of the cognitive components of what is the zodiac, what's the difference between constellations and zodiac signs, how can we reconcile the fact that the zodiac, the seasonal signs are now about one sign ahead of the constellations, and what do we do with that, and how do we hold that? How can we hold it all at the same time? Which I think is a really beautiful, wonderful question. Then we're going to be looking at how the zodiac then maps to the astrology chart, and how can we also be with the astrology chart and the houses in particular, as a living, breathing representation of the moment we were born, or the moment of any moment. But then, so I'm doing that cognitive part, but then the second part of the workshop is going to be a channeled time where I will be holding space with the spirit world to come into your own sense of, okay, how does this all come alive? How do I now engage with the astrology chart, with the zodiac, with the cosmos through astrology, but in a way that breathes life into the whole thing? It's not just a static, two-dimensional, flat paper, because that's not what life is, and that's not what we are, right? So that's the point of that workshop. And then actually in a couple of weeks, also, Heather Ensworth will be doing her workshop for the astrology course, and that her talk will pair, I think, really, really perfectly with the workshop I just talked about. So I'll say more about that later. That one will also be available to purchase, even if you're not part of the whole astrology course. But starting in March, well, anyway, I'll get ahead of myself. But yeah. there are lots of parts of the astrology course that are not open to everybody, but those two are. And if you're part of the astrology course, all of that's free. And then we're going to have lots and lots of other things going on too. Okay. So if you want to hear more about that, go to the links in the description of this video. And another huge set of energies that are incredibly alive this month, I'm saving to talk about, because I'm going to be doing a video with Melanie Reinhart and Chris Skidmore, which will be free on my YouTube channel next week, in about a week and a half. No, wait, the 18th, whenever that is, in another, no, this weekend, soon. First time. Anyway, yeah. So in that video, we're going to be talking about the fact that it's huge in the next, before we get to the full moon in Virgo, actually, we're going to be having the Mars Venus conjunction and the North Node Chiron conjunction happening, pretty much at the same time, back to back with each other. And that is an incredibly powerful set of energies that's happening right now. And that's what Melanie and Chris and I will be talking about in that video. So stay tuned for that. I will be putting it up in, less than a week. Yeah, and the energies of that North Node Chiron conjunction also will be very powerful in the next 2-3 months, because we're going to be having the new moon solar eclipse on April 8th, which will be conjunct Chiron within 1 minute. Chiron will be within 1 minute of the new moon. And it's that, anyway, you've heard probably me and lots of other people say that eclipse is just so gigantic, so huge. Right. So yeah, Melanie and Chris and I will focus on that. But that's another part of the backdrop of what's going on in the energies right now. It's just incredibly, so much healing potential and healing energy around our relationships to the feminine, the masculine, our internal relationship to our inner feminine, our inner masculine, healing, again, that also Chiron on the North Node, very, very connected to our healing, the healing of our relationship with our bodies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So many beautiful energies here and coming, and so much more to talk about. Yeah, not to mention the Jupiter Uranus conjunction building, which will be exact on April 20th, which also supports same thing, us coming into our relationship with our bodies, this pure divine essence healing of our relationship with our bodies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Lots and lots of similar themes, and amazing, and all relevant to what I just talked about. And all super relevant to the Ultimate Divine Blueprint series, actually. Yeah. So, okay. I think that's everything. Oh, and just to say, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I wanted to start doing some videos out in nature, etc. And that is absolutely still my intention. The reason I haven't done it yet, for anybody who doesn't know, so I live, in California, on the coast of California, where the gigantic storm was a couple of weeks ago. And the whole area where I normally go for my walks is closed, because lots of trees have fallen and a really important bridge was taken out. And anyway, so that's why I haven't taken you over there, because I can't go there right this second. So it's a really interesting lesson for me in, like the spirit world keeps laughing at me. Well, we're saying things need to be, changed in order to change, right? Things need to be kind of thrown up in the air in order to come into a new form. The old form needs to move on in order to come into the new form. Well, that's literally what's happening over there. So, yeah, anyway, more there, but you get the idea. So So I still absolutely, definitely have the intention to take you to beautiful spots around here. And I really want to do those kinds of videos. I'm now exploring new places. Like yesterday, I went for a walk at another spot that's unbelievably gorgeous. It's a 4-minute drive from where I live. And I went, why have I never gone here? It's literally 4 minutes from me. And it's, I won't name the spot, but it's literally world-class, like, resort 4 minutes from me. And it's free. It's free to go walking there. Why have I never gone there? It's so weird. So yeah, I went exploring over there yesterday and went to the beach over there and feeling into where could I take all of you and I don't have privacy enough to channel for you and all of that. So I'm just feeling into, like, the old form is clearly needed to change in various ways. So now I'm just sort of feeling into what's the new form that's ready to take shape. So it's interesting parallel, interesting metaphor. Yeah. So just to give you the reason for why I haven't done that yet, but still absolutely my intention. It will happen because I want it to, because it'll be really, really beautiful and fun. And everything is sprouting here. Everything is, it's like after the rains, it's so beautiful. We have a little more rain coming in the next few days. Please, please, please be gentle. But it's supposed to be gentle, so it's good. So yeah, so in probably a couple of weeks, it'll be, extra, extra, extra beautiful. And as soon as I find a nice quiet spot to take you all, I will do that. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much to those of you who have been commenting and liking and subscribing. And it really, 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 really helps me feel like I know what to be doing more of and what you like, and etc. So thank you so much for doing that. Please continue to do that. Like, subscribe, comment, as you feel called. Thank you. See you soon.